Alrighty. So, Kingdom Hearts stream didn't exactly work out because of the audio issue, but you know what doesn't require audio? Emotelabs. Emotelabs is something that I've personally been playing around with for a little while. You might have noticed in chat, if you have certain plugins like Better TV or 7TV or whatever, I've added a few Emotelabs emotes that can be used in the channel. So, if you haven't noticed, now you know. Fun times. Right. I want to take you through Emotelabs, the basics, how to use it, and maybe show you some of the stuff I've done. Bear in mind, it's the stuff I've done is a little messy. So just keep that in mind. So, where to begin? Credits. These are all the people that have worked on it, like the localization is like community members and stuff like that. And then, of course, Hexras. Big shout out. Documentation. This will take you to the emotelabs.app website, if I recall correctly. It's a useful website. If you really want to know how everything works, definitely worth clicking this documentation button, looking at the website. It will tell you everything. It will tell you how to share character files and what parts are available at the moment and what animations there are and how to do your own, I think it's spine model. It'll be this is how you can import your own stuff, etc, etc. Whatever. Boring stuff. This is probably the most useful button other than the log folder. If anything goes wrong, there's a bug report area on the Discord. If it ends up being a bug, having the log from the log folder might be helpful. I don't know. Oh, that is not... That takes you to the website too, apparently. Jesus Christ. Let's not worry about that. Right, here are all of the settings. These are the settings, this area, this animation export area, is the settings for animation export. So let's load up one of the models, right? And then when you hit the export emote, it will export in using the animation export settings. So there's a bunch of presets like Discord, Twitch, different GIFs. I would avoid using the APNGs. Animated PNGs are cool. I like them a lot. Unfortunately, not really widely used. GIFs are more universal. So I would stick with GIFs if you plan to use them across different websites or different applications or whatever. The presets are pretty solid. I don't know. I can't remember if dithering is enabled by default, but these are my settings. I just use the preset and I make sure the dithering is turned off and using global color table. This is generally what I like to use, right? For animate, for static images, it's just a PNG. You set the width and height. Easy. Generally, you want these to be the same. The highest I would generally go is 500 for either GIFs or static images. I wouldn't go any higher for GIFs because that starts getting kind of beefy size-wise. But if you're using them as intended for emotes, definitely just use the emote presets. They should be pretty small because they're going to be small on your screen anyways. If you're using them for alerts, I do understand going a little bit bigger, but there is no real good reason, I would imagine, to go above 500. It's just 500 is already quite big. I would go smaller than that, even for alerts. But yeah, this is animation settings. The presets are generally pretty solid. I've not had problems with them. Feel free to play around with them though. You can always just reset to default. Viewport settings. Viewport refers to this little window. You can zoom in and out with your mouse wheel, middle click and drag to move your little character around, but there are also rotation settings and stuff like that if you hover on the top left corner. Fun. I only found this out the other day. I'm not, like, I've never hovered over that, so I only found this out recently. Fun times. But that's what these settings are in reference to. I've never messed around with them. Again, you can mess around with them. If you need to reset them, just press reset viewport settings. Not a problem. Because I'm on Linux, these buttons don't actually take me where I need to go. Like the open character folder or open local model folder, these won't do anything for me. The character folder is this. This right here. Got it up in the top left here. It is documents, Emotelabs, characters, and any character that you've saved will get a little folder with the name of the character that you saved in here, and it will appear in here. If it has custom textures enabled, it will create a regions folder. Regions folders are the texture sheets, but they've been cut up into tiny little pieces, so each individual bit is like categorized. As you can see, like all the similar things are together. So like all of the hairs are together, but they've got their own subcategories, etc., etc. This regions folder is extremely valuable. I personally would still edit the items on the texture sheets specifically. Like I think that's best practice personally, because when you look at the custom texture area, it has the open custom texture folder button. Again, that doesn't do anything for me because I'm running Linux, not Windows, and this is Windows software. But it will take you to this folder, the texture case folder. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's not where I was trying to go. Back. I scrolled too far back. Anyways, it will take you to the texture case folder. Right now, it should take you to the specific folder for the specific model. And before, it was always a little tricky because the latest model is always called Coffee Bean. Hence the little sparklies, and all of the old versions, the archival versions, have like V and then a number after it. And it's got like little sleeping. I definitely would utilize this open custom texture folder to take you direct to the textures folder rather than navigating manually, because while before the newest one was Coffee Bean, even in the texture folder, the newest one now is Coffee Bean version 1.5 in the file structure. So that's going to get a little confusing for me. I don't know about you guys. If you just press this button, you don't need to worry about any of that. It will take you to the correct location, assuming that you're using Windows, of course. Anyways, enough about that. If you're not worried about doing any custom stuff with the textures or whatever, your little folder that it will create when you save it will not have a regions folder. You notice this one doesn't have regions, but this one does? Yeah, that's because this one has custom textures enabled. You'll see this little box here get ticked when the custom textures are enabled. But when it doesn't have custom textures enabled, it's just a JSON file. Now, this JSON file logs all of the data of these settings on this page here, like all of the different parts, including any alterations on here. Like you can alter a whole bunch of different stuff. I've not really played around with these. because I kind of like the defaults for most stuff. But yes, if you come through here and you're like, oh, I just want to make one that looks like this using like default things, like maybe I want here, like some here, some like little front bits. Maybe I want maybe a little bit of here in the front, like so. And maybe I'm chill with that. And I think this looks great. Maybe I alter some of the colors, like outfit. This should be outfit inner, right? Maybe I alter some of the colors, make this like a purple, and the outline like a different sort of purple. Oh, that does not alter the outline color. Some of them, when you alter the two different colors, one of them will be for like the outline. Some stuff has gradient and it does that, but let's see. Yeah, maybe I'm chill with like this. Maybe I think this looks great. If I saved this right now, it would save all of these settings, but it would be saved in a JSON folder if I did not tick this box, because it's not using any custom textures. It's using all the default stuff. That stuff doesn't need to be saved. So there's that. Let me just unload the model. Right. So let's say you do want to use custom textures and you're actually very interested in that and you want to alter everything to look a certain way, right? This here is a custom model that a friend of mine made, actually, Kitty-chan. And you'll notice the style is all pixel art. She does pixel art retexture commissions on VGen. And this is just like a little example of what it can look like. Oh, sorry. But every single aspect can look different if you edit it manually on the texture sheets. Like, this is the one that I did. It's not pixel art. It's a pretty, I want to say basic, but you'll see as things load in, it's completely different. It's not very complicated or anything, but it saved all my settings and it saved all the colors and everything. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Skin outline. Let's take this and then go and outline. Yeah, why? This has been changed. There we go. Let's save that. Yes. Okay, so when you save a character, if it's a character that you clicked on and then edited, it will ask you if you want to overwrite that character. In this case, I do, so I click to confirm, right? But if you're saving a new character, and you edited it from, say, like one of the sample characters or anything like that, it will ask you to put in a name. Now, if you want to overwrite a character, like say I've got example here, if I wanted to overwrite that with something that I like completely didn't make, like if I took like one of these sample characters, right, and I edited it and I wanted to overwrite example, when it comes up with this, I would put cancel, right? And I would just write in the name example. And if I confirm, it will ask me if I want to overwrite it. But if I put a completely different name, like Bob, it will just save it. And you'll see there. You can delete stuff that you've saved by clicking on it and clicking the little trash button. But yeah, if you want to edit textures, if you want everything to be completely different from the defaults, I wouldn't worry about messing up any of the defaults because there is like reset buttons for everything. Even with this, there's like you can just delete and like make a new one, whatever. If there's anything you want to keep, you can just copy the entire character folder and make a backup and say like your documents or your pictures, or wherever you feel comfortable. But if you want to edit custom textures, let's use example as an example. It's loading all of the custom regions. I will say there are parts of this app that are a little slow. However, it is very like user friendly. It makes it very easy to make fun characters, alter the colors, alter the outline colors. Like it's a little bit disorganized in some places, but these are all of the animated alerts or like animated emojis that are available from using this application. So it's quite a lot. And they've been adding more as we go on. But yes, say you want to use custom textures, you hit the open custom texture folder, you right click, you open with your art application of choice. In my case, I would say use Critter. This here, these items with the colored square backgrounds, they are intended to be used as like custom items. So let's go and put in headband. No, hairband. My bad. Maybe we want to edit this one, right? Like we've decided we want a big thing on the top of our head. What do we want to make it? So I'll just make a new layer. Maybe I want the size of it to be not quite like that. Do we want it to be bright blue? Sure, bright blue. And then maybe we want it to be a little bit more geometric. Don't judge too much. I'm not exactly the best at doing things quickly. Like any of the art stuff you ever see from me is very slow going. But yeah, like let's say we want it to look like that. Right? And then we fill in the colors. Maybe we make it a little darker in the middle, like that. Yeah, sure. Whatever. I don't think it really matters that much. And it's just, yeah, whatever. Obviously, this is not exactly great art, but an example. Just take that away. File. Let's just save it. We do not want to be altering any of the dimensions at all. We don't want to be altering how big it is, like pixel wise or anything like that. So now, once you've edited the thing, you can see that the thumbnail, it shows that it's been completely edited, right? In order for it to show up, reload textures. Now you can see that the stuff that we did is there. Maybe you think to yourself, oh dang, I deleted all of the guidelines for everything and I don't have any way to get them back. I'd recommend backing up the stuff that you already did, like saving a copy of this into, say, my pictures or my documents, somewhere not in the Emotelab folder, right? And then, the one that you messed up, say it's Coffee Bean 14, right? You tick that box and you go reset, and voila, it is back to how it was originally. Very easy way to just reset everything to default. You can edit any of these, even the stuff that is not intended to be customized, like say the hand or the little ghost. Maybe you want to make the little death ghost a little more sinister, right? Maybe you want that. And let's say I do. Maybe I want it to be more sad and distressed looking. Right? There we go. We'll just take a copy of that just in case. I'm like, alright, cool. We're gonna completely change it up. Boom, boom, boom. I think that should be fine. Yep. Oh, now we have a distressed ghost. Oh no, how distressing. And maybe we want to fill in the eyes to make him look even more distressed, right? Boom, boom. Yep, sure, good enough. It's not great. We're not going into details here, right? I'm just gonna export that. Crap. I didn't think about this. I didn't think about this. Not export it. File, save. Save as a PNG. Right, yes. And then it will overwrite that original file that we had, right? You can see it's been overwritten. And then we go back here. Oh, here, bend. Let's get rid of that. And let's go refresh those textures. Now, you're probably wondering, where does this ghost come into it? Well, we have all of these delightful alerts, right? Including alert custom. So if you wanted to change that, you would edit this part of the image here, the texture sheet, right? There are very helpful people on the Discord that can point you in the right direction if there's anything specific that you want to edit that you're trying to find. But we've got all of these things, and there you go. Completely different ghost. It's not the most well done, but you know, whatever. So that's just how you can edit various different parts, whether they were intended to be edited or the stuff that is intended to be edited has these big bright boxes and guidelines around them. The stuff that isn't intended to be edited is just like black and white most of the time. Some of them are assets in the emotes, so they have like specific colors by default. But that's how you edit textures. It's more about art skill. However, if you aren't the best at art and you want to edit something just a little bit, what you can do is you can take like something that is close to the shape that you want to add into something else, say like a piece of hair or something like that. You can kind of copy these lines and edit them like over the top of other stuff if you're not very confident in your own art skills. It won't have like very dramatically different results. It will look very similar to the stuff that's already in the program because you're basically like mashing bits of it together, right? But that I would highly recommend doing that if you're not very confident in your art skills, but you do want to just change something a little bit. Because the stuff that's already in the app is quite good. It's very like it's simple, but it's good. And like copying bits of that, you can make like subtle changes. Nothing too extreme. Like it's not going to be overly detailed because the lines are like quite thick, right? But you can make little changes, maybe like add a star onto a shirt or maybe add like a couple of strands of hair where they weren't before. Like you can do all of that just by copy and pasting things around a bit. Highly recommend playing around with that if you're not the best at art. But yes, trying everything out, highly recommend just clicking around, trying like, oh, do you like this? Do you like that? There are so many options of things that can be added and you can stack things up to make like really interesting characters. You can see a lot of the different stuff that people have done, both by drawing their own custom assets, sometimes over the default ones, sometimes in the custom asset designated spaces. You can see some of that, and then also some of the stuff that people have done just with the default stuff. In the Discord, there's a showcase channel. specifically dedicated to that. Highly recommend checking that out. Like, it is so cool what some people have managed to do. This is one that I did earlier just with like default stuff. Obviously, it's not perfect because nothing custom has been drawn, but you can get some like pretty interesting results. You can recreate various different characters from media, like video games, YouTube, movies, TV, whatever. And you can get pretty close. Like, this isn't too bad considering I just played around with a few of these like little options and then played around with the colors. Like, you can see the colors are slightly changed for some things. But yeah, pretty much just click around. That's the basics of Emotelabs. Highly recommend just mess around with everything. Figure out what everything does. Trial and error. You're not going to mess anything up. Well, generally by just clicking around this area, you're not going to mess anything up beyond repair. You can always just delete, unload, start from scratch. Not a problem. If you do custom textures and it just doesn't work out, you can select all and reset them all in one hit. It's not a big deal. Wouldn't worry about it. If anything goes wrong or you're having trouble figuring something out, the Discord is really helpful. There's a lot of really good people in there willing to offer a hand. They'll help you find, like, maybe you want to paint on the face. They will help you figure out specifically, like, how to do that the best. Maybe the best option is face feature. One of the face features? Yeah, like face feature C3. Maybe that's the best option to like draw on to get like face painting or something. Or maybe it's not. And the best way to do that is just trial and error. But yeah, I highly recommend getting Emotelab. It's a great way to, if you're not good at art, there's lots of options that you can do that are built right in. You can change all of the different colors. If you click twice on the color, you get two options. Sometimes that's really helpful because some of the hairs have gradients like that. And the second color, like, let's see, what's this? Hair bang. If I go like this and choose two different colors, you can see that the gradient changes. So stuff like that. Highly recommend just playing around with it to figure out what you like, what you don't like. So really not that much to it. If you're really good at art, you can do custom textures using these texture sheets. There is another way to edit textures if you're having trouble finding them on the texture sheet or whatnot. You can edit them through this regions folder. So like maybe you want to edit say the hand, but just one of the hands, or like I think the hands are mirrored to be fair, but maybe you want to edit the hand. There's lots of different states that the hand can come in, and if you want it to be consistent, you will need to edit it all. If you're not doing like the custom hands, there's custom hands on page 15. If you're not doing the custom hands, you will need to edit all of these separate different pieces. And that's where the regions folder can come in really handy. Now, the trick to this is you like right click, you open it in like your favorite image editor or whatever. So say this. Maybe I want to remove it completely, or maybe I just want to change the color. Pretend I do that. Let's just make it red for the purposes of today's example, right? And then you would just save that image, not changing the dimensions or anything. Yada, yada, yada. We'll change the outfit as well for this. Like, we'll get rid of the collar so that you can see it. Cool. Perfect. We'll click Use Custom Textures. Reload textures. Oh, I just realized that's not gonna do anything. You have to save the character first. So I changed this in examples one. So I'd load up example and then this would be changed. Basically, you have to unload the model and then load it back in for any changes via the regions folder to actually show up. And you'll see, like, it's red now, whatever. This is why I recommend doing it via the custom textures if you can, because it's just simpler. You just draw on the texture sheet, hit the reload, like save the texture sheet, hit the reload textures, it's there. If you save before unloading and then reloading the model that you changed in the regions way, if you save, it will overwrite that body color with something else. So, like, it'll overwrite any edits you did. Always back up your work. Always save to 2 different locations if you're doing anything custom, either via the regions folder or via the custom textures. Just because it makes it so much easier if things go wrong, if you make a mistake. See, so I've just reset all of the textures, right? You can see that neck is no longer red. If I save it, like so, it's going to overwrite the changes that I did in the regions folder. Anyways, little bit rambly, a little bit all over the place. Just fuck around and find out. Mess around, click on everything. Worst comes to worst, you can basically reset most of the stuff that you change. Custom textures, if you edit it through the regions folder, you can reset that stuff as well. The settings have a giant reset, the settings option at the bottom of them. I wouldn't worry about messing up. The only thing is just save your work in another place as well, not just in the Emotelabs folder. Save it in your pictures, save it in your documents, just so that if things do go wrong, anything that you drew isn't lost. Highly recommend that. Anyways, that's it. That's all for today. A short little stream. Nothing too complicated. Actually, I will show you some of the emotes, some of my favorite emotes. We'll load into my my little guy. I also did emotes for Lunarate, NZ, and Crabman Nova. Little animated emotes. I don't know if there's any way to see those though. But here's my little guy, right? And you've got like all of the different alerts. That's fun, I guess. Fun little ones. My favorite one is the celebration. This pleases me greatly. The cheering with the pom-poms. There's other ones like cheers, Coke shake, that's quite new. But there's also like 4 different dances now. Highly recommend playing around with this. It's so fun. And this is only letter D. Like, there's drinking. I changed the colors so it's like drinking water instead of like boba. There's like hunger. There's like thumb, eating. There's 3 different eating options. You can draw over these assets and like have something completely different if you're really determined to. But like game, gift with confetti, gift, but like you're just excited about it. These just cute emotes, man. I love them. I'm a huge fan of everything Emotelabs. Like, the fact that you've got all of these emotes, I use custom eyes, so like the eye animations on stuff like this. If I change the eyes real quick, you can see that on the default eyes, it has like proper moving animations, but on the custom ones, it doesn't really move like that. That is an unfortunate downside of using some of the custom, like dedicated assets. It is easier to work with because the eyes are broken up into various different parts, as you'll see here. There's a lot of different eye pieces for each of the different eyes. So if you were to edit the default ones, you wouldn't just be editing one like solid thing and then putting the animation on top. You'd be editing multiple parts because each of these parts move independently. So that's why it's split into like so many different parts, which makes them animate so much nicer, as you can see, but it does make it more complicated if you wanted to edit them, like, so you can have that nice animation. You can, like, these are all the parts that you would need. There's people in the Discord that can help you find the parts on the texture sheets. But also, I personally don't have a problem with it not being animated as good as the default eyes. I prefer the simplicity, to be quite honest. But yes, there's so many great emotes. Highly recommend. Just play around with stuff, man. It's so worthwhile. Like, the money eyes. The money eyes are way more dynamic than the default. But yes, so many options. So many different emotes. If you tried to make all of these yourself, it would take you so long to just make even one. I'm just thinking about it. I've made some animated emotes for this channel, and it was pixel art, which, in my opinion, makes it a simpler process because, like, you're just moving the pixels by a set amount, right? Like, it makes it a lot easier to figure out how it should be animated because there's very defined structure to pixel art that makes it easier to, like, calculate in your mind how things should move because it's just defined squares. You know where they go in correlation to each other in order to make a spinning star, for example, or what have you. When you're not doing pixel art, it gets even more complicated because those bounds aren't defined. They're not as clear as how things move. And when you're animating things, it can get a little tricky, even at the best of times, and it takes a long time to animate even something really small. Like, the stuff that I've animated for the Twitch emotes are very small. They're 28 by 28 pixels and then upscaled from there. Because it's like 100 and something pixels. Like, so this here ends up being like really small when you make them for Twitch emotes specifically. They're great big for like Discord stickers and whatnot, but for Twitch emotes specifically, like, they're quite small. And the fact that you have so many different options that you can work with, they auto scale down. You can use auto scaling down. There's so many tools for like messing around with GIFs if you need them to be like a smaller file size, etc. But it's so much less complicated than doing it all yourself. So I highly, highly recommend. I don't have a tail, so there is no tail wag. And every now and again, they will add more emotes. And I love it. I love this stuff, man. It's so good. Like, look at this. Makes me happy. Anyways, yes, that's it. I'll stop rambling about my love for Emotelabs. I really wanted to stream today. The original plan was Kingdom Hearts. Audio issues prevented that from happening. So I thought I'd just share something else that I love. I really do love Emotelabs. I will be redoing my Emotelabs model once it comes out of early access. It is currently in early access, so sometimes bugs do happen. Not often. Surprisingly, a small amount of bugs, considering. But they do happen every now and again. I will be redoing all of the emotes when we hit out of early access, which I don't know when that's going to be. But we've had quite a few updates since February was when I started messing around with Emotelabs. We've had like a couple of updates since then. So it's looking pretty promising timeline-wise for getting out of early access. When that happens, I will completely redo all my emotes. I'll probably redo emotes for some of the other people that I've done emotes for if they want them. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Or more accurately, you'll see me when you see me. Bye!